any business owner will tell you that they're trying to reach younger demographics. Why? Because they have disposable income. Why? Because they'll become your loyal consumers of the future. Why? Because they're media savvy and they'll share your brand and your products and services with others. And so as we come out of COVID-19 in the short term and we start to re-enter the marketplace, whether you're B2B, whether you're B2C, whatever it might be, you've got to ask yourself, how are you going to reach those younger demographics? What are they going to be looking for? What are they going to respond to? How are you going to inspire them to share your brand with others so that you can not only recover, but you can drive growth and accelerate, beyond this incredible step backwards that everybody's taken. And so I wanted to share a few considerations around that, because we do a lot of work with clients in terms of what they say and how they say it, and then how they roll it out to younger demographics. And so obviously we're talking about millennials and Gen Z, and a lot of us think that they're really young, as if they're almost that slacktivist. They're either sort of just wanting the world to change but not really doing anything about it, or, they like the idea of being values driven, but, they still, have a healthy self-interest and just buy what they want. But the truth is they're actually very values driven. And more so, they want to see brands showing up in a meaningful way in the world. And so sometimes when you talk about brands being purposeful, you can hear people cynically or not just say, why, did we all suddenly wake up and grow a conscience? No, it's because, these are the new business drivers. Three things have come together. One, you've got this heightened awareness of all these challenges we face, like climate crisis and so on. Secondly, you've got these younger demographics who are values driven. And thirdly, you've got social technologies that are connecting them like never before. You put all those three together and it's a completely different marketplace. So, not only is it meaningful to have a positive impact and fulfilling for you and the company, but it's also tapping into what are today's market drivers. And so there's several things you should do. You should definitely clearly define your purpose, which is why your company exists. What is your purpose? And I've talked on other videos, as to the key questions you can ask, like, what is your enemy? Or what are you the only of? Or when you're at your best, what are you doing? Secondly, you need to demonstrate a commitment to that purpose in transparent and accountable terms. So no longer can you just state your good intention. You've got to walk your talk. You've got to be able to point to what you're doing, show how it's having a meaningful but also measurable impact, and make sure you're defensible. Because, you've seen so many brands get called out now for, they're talking a good game, but they're not actually doing anything. And, it's very easy, even if you are doing something, if you don't tell that story well, to get lost in the noise of, a variety of brands now are all talking about the good work that they're doing. So, you've got to be clear about your purpose. You've got to walk your talk and be really transparent and accountable for it. And then you've got to tell that story well. Why? Because so often we find in our work with brands, companies do amazing work, but then either because they're humble, or because they don't want to be seen as self-serving, or because they just don't have the time or bandwidth, they don't tell anyone about it. They don't even tell their employees. And then it's no wonder that consumers or employees are reluctant to turn up the next time they ask them to work with them to have a positive impact. So don't forget to kind of complete that last mile of the story supply chain, where you're purposeful, you're being accountable and transparent about it, but then share those stories and make sure you share them in a way, as I've talked about in other videos, in a way that's where you're the celebrant rather than the celebrity. So don't talk about yourself, talk about what that work has been able to do for others' lives. Celebrate those people, celebrate the impact that's being had, and that will create a halo effect for your brand. So if you want to reach these younger demos, make sure you show up in a meaningful way on the strength of a clearly defined purpose, walk your talk, and really be able to point to what you've done and the impact it's had, and then tell the story of that impact so that not only, do people know it happened, but those who've been a part of it, your employees and consumer base that are collaborating with you, feel good about their participation and are inspired to do it again the next time you ask them. And then you can take them with you as you do these various efforts over time. So really hope that helps. And let's make sure that, we leverage the fact that these younger demographics coming through want to be your partner in doing good. And when you do that together, it will build your business as well. Alrighty.